Monday Night Football. Finally, a Monday Night Football game that is going to be a banger.
This is a game of the week. Easy.
This might be the game of the year so far.
Yeah.
Is there another one? I know we live in the moment, but like undefeated against 7-2. At the moment, the leading candidate to win NFL MVP, 22 touchdowns, 1 interception.
And it brings back the good old days because I think this is one of the best rivalries when you think about it.
It was, yeah. The peak Legion of Boom and the Kaepernick versus Kaepernick and that offense. That was good. Patrick Willis,
Sherman's
Bowman.
still involved on the other side.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's right. So I just think there's a lot of nostalgia going into this game, but it's just knowing that these are two premier teams. Even though I really think Seattle's flawed. Like we've seen Seattle past few weeks. That defense, we knew it wasn't good going into the year. They're legitimately bad.
Well, they're getting bailed out by Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett's like the most sure thing in the NFL right now.
It is crazy how he's a great receiver. Like I don't think you could say he's a good receiver anymore. I think he's a great receiver. And especially with Russell Wilson, even when Russell Wilson's buying time, it seems like Tyler Lockett always finds a way to get open, a little bit of space, and the completion percentage is like astonishing.
He just hits him on those crosses.
And also
perfect
like
touch.
Yeah, and dude, it's not like, I don't want to hate on Drew Brees and Mike Thomas, but a lot of their stuff is underneath. Like you're talking about, these are shots downfield.
These are very tight window throws.
Tough throws that he's making to Tyler Lockett.
Some of the throws hit against Atlanta and Tampa Bay were just jaw dropping.
And even the throw against the Rams in the back of the end zone, that was crazy. And Russell Wilson, man, he just continues to. I sensed a FU attitude from him this year because now he doesn't have the excuse of the Legion of Boom to bail him out. It's no longer Marshawn Lynch's team. It's no longer you have those guys in the back end that bail you out on defense. It's basically Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson that are left from that core team that made the Seahawks what they were 5-6 years ago. Now I think Russell Wilson is just like, yo, I'm going to show you guys how great I am. Some people were a little hesitant to, I wouldn't say to give him that contract, but he wasn't up for that contract yet, And they're also going to get Josh Gordon into the mix.
Very exciting. He's always been a big X factor, but I think in this offense, like such a guy like DK Metcalf, you can run crosses with both of them, those two big bodies, and then Lockett. There's a lot of excitement going on in Seattle, and their old line's not as bad as it once was. I think Dwayne Brown's been a huge. They got him in 2017, but you see now that Wilson isn't as jittery in the pocket. There's times where Wilson would just bail out of the pocket because he entrusts his protection. Now you see him, he's trusting his protection. He still gets pressure quite a bit, but there was a point where Russell Wilson would just be bailing out of clean pockets just because he was just scared. He was like, oh, I'm about to get hit. Now he's a little more confident back there. But I do wonder with this game, though, they are going against the premier pass rush. We might see Wilson scramble a lot more than he has been this year.
Yeah, this is probably, I think, the best defense in football that he's going up against. I'm not going to overreact to what happened to the Patriots on Sunday Night Football, but I was saying that, you haven't really played anyone good yet. He played on offense in Baltimore, and it kind of exposed New England a little bit. And I do think that when you're looking at the Niners, don't you see a lot of similarities between the 2012, 2013, 2014 Seahawks and this Niners team?
Oh, there are definite similarities, especially when you look up front. I still think just the secondary.
The secondary is not the...
I still want to see... I just think that secondary has so much star power in Seattle.
Right.
Well, it's that friend. Maybe we'll see more guys emerge. Like, I really like Weatherspoon, but for the most part, you just think of Sherman. That's pretty much...
And Sherman, let's be honest, it's more like the name and the legacy. Like, he's still playing at a high level, but he's no longer...
shut down.
A lot of names are going to go by before you say Richard Sherman's the best corner in football.
I think all their success is built up front. What they've assembled up front, you have four, and I think Armstead's playing at a real high level. We're not talking about him enough. Even Solomon Thomas is making plays. Just what they've built up front. I do wonder, this is their first game without Quan Alexander, how much they're going to miss him.
Right, he got hurt in that Thursday Night Football game.
Right, and they still don't have McGlinchey, Staley, or Uche. Even though Seattle's I like Jadeveon Clowney, but he's not someone you want to rely on as your main pass rusher. I think that's pretty much a given.
I'm sorry, I never liked Clowney.
He makes plays. He causes havoc, but he's not someone he's more of just a run stuffer. Not run stuffer, but he makes plays against the run. He's just not someone you could depend on to generate pressure.
I'd much rather if I'm gonna take you number one overall, you be bad against the run than be bad against the pass.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think Clowney is a guy that
He's not someone you can rely on.
And all those years in Houston, he had some good pass rushers around him. Merciless, J.J. Watt, obviously. And, you know, he never was a 16 sack guy. And I know that's about a sack a game, and that's a high mark, but
not even double digits. I think it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, Clowney never did it for me.
He just does. He's really good against the run. You see at times he'll back a couple passes down. Like he's always causing havoc. Like and you can use him a lot of different ways. Like Seattle loves blitzing him through the A gap. Like he's someone you can line up at linebacker and he can just burst through. But eventually, it's just like when you invest so much, it's like I need to see some stacks. I need to see some production, and he just hasn't done it. So I don't know. Seattle, even though the record's really good and Russell Wilson's best quarterback in the league and Chris Carson, even though, he fumbles a lot, I just still think Carson's a really dynamic running back that brings so much to the table. Just Seattle's such a flawed team. Like, I'm shocked they're 7-2, and they have a brutal schedule. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Seattle starts dipping a little bit, but just given that Russell Wilson's playing at MVP level, like, there's no way they could completely collapse, but I do think they're going to start losing some games just because they're playing against, they got Philly. I know I still think they got to play Green Bay. They have so many good teams they're playing against coming up, so.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. It seems like the Monday Night Football games have been a little, you can.
Other than Houston, New Orleans, they've been all bad. I know Detroit, Green Bay was kind of interesting, but it's been duds this year.
Yeah, a lot of even this past Monday was a dud. If it wasn't for the Giants, I wouldn't have.
I was
been
slightly interested because I just want to see Daniel Jones against Cowboys. That was about it. But other than that, I was like, okay, this is just another Giants Cowboys game. But
you buying into this black cat jinxing the Giants?
No. I will buy into the fact that Stephen A. Smith is the man who put it on the field.
Oh,
just for laughs. But how do you think this game decides? Because I think both teams have really good running games we should take. I know everyone's like, oh, establish the run, this, that. Like, well, we're talking about running games, but both teams can run the ball.
I think this is going to be the classic whichever quarterback has the ball last wins kind of game. Only because I think Seattle's defense is not that good. Okay. I'm not saying that Jimmy G is playing at the same level as Russell Wilson, but I'm saying that what balances that out is that I don't think Seattle's defense is as good as people might think.
I think Jimmy G's going to light him up.
Yeah?
He's going to have a big game. Dude, everyone's lighting up Seattle. Matt Schaub lit up Seattle.
Yeah, that's a fact. Winston, and even Winston last week.
Yeah, if Winston did it, what was that? He just
pull a Winston.
The ball. Yeah, just pull a James Winston. So I think Jimmy, especially all the play action they run, I think they're going to just, especially Sanders is now.
Yo, I was going to mention him right now. He is clearly Jimmy G's guy right now. Like, he is getting, I was watching the game last week with the Cardinals, and I was texting Danny and Josh, who we play daily fantasy every week. I was like, yo, there's something to monitor. It seems like every time he needs a play, he goes to Sanders. Let's keep that in mind when we're trying to identify which wide receivers they got to pair him up. And, yeah, I mean, Sanders, George Kittle, would you call it a two-headed monster? Because, Coleman has that big game against the Panthers, then kind of lays an egg the next week, and Breida picks it up close to 100 yards.
They do spread around. Like, Pettis had a big play. Samuel had a big play. With Kyle Shanahan's offense, role players will have the opportunity to shine just because he schemes up plays all the time. Like, you're going to have your moment where you're going to be 10 yards open downfield and you're going to score. That's just Kyle Shanahan. He's brilliant like that. So, between that, I just want to see how Russell Wilson copes with this pass rush because I think, man, they're going to get after him.
Yeah.
This pass rush is going to get after him. And I think Nick Bosa versus Dwayne Brown should be a cool matchup because this is one of the premier left tackles in the league and seeing how Bosa fares. But still, you got guys like D Ford and DeForest Buckner. Just even when San Fran was bad, they would give Wilson problems. Like, I remember that one game, maybe it was 2 years ago. Remember Wilson threw a touchdown where I think Buckner was bringing him down and he just flung it in. They won like 10-6.
Yeah. So I was going to say it was a slow scoring game. Yeah.
Like San Fran's because of problems when they were bad. Like, what are they going to do now? So, we'll see. Jesus, Phillip. Like I said, new rule. We're banning 38-year-olds from playing.
Oh, they got pick sixth.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But
look at this go. Amazing.
Who do you got in this game?
Man, I don't want to bet against Russell Wilson. He puts fear in my heart as someone that has bet against him. If I'm holding a ticket on the Niners and he has the ball, it puts fear in my heart. Him and like Andrew Luck were the two guys where like when I would have a ticket, like those, you can never count those guys out. They would always. And now you know who else is in that guy?
Deshaun Watson.
Yep. If you guys are out there and you guys are bettors, I dare you to disagree with me because you can't. If you have a bet and you're going up against those guys, they put fear in your little hearts. So I can't pick against Russell Wilson. I think he's playing at such a high level that I agree with you. There are a lot of issues on this team. The offensive line is not the best. The defense is not that great. But I think Russell Wilson is having one of those years where, like Cam Newton, we opened up the show with Cam Newton. I think like Cam Newton had that one year with the Panthers where he kind of elevated everyone else around him. I think Russell Wilson is the same exact way.
Okay. I'm going San Fran. Trust that. I think the Pastors can after him. And let's take into account, what was it, 3 extra days of rest? And you're giving Kyle Shanahan extra time to prepare, especially now that he has Sanders to work with. I just think there's a lot of advantages going San Fran's way, not to mention their home as well. Just between that, and I think you could still get us. I'm just very excited to see what he could do with guys like Pettis and Samuel and Coleman, because Shanahan's going to create some sort of crazy game plan. So I just think between that and I think Seattle's defense, they're going to get really torn apart in this one. I think Jimmy G's starting to play a little better, and Jimmy G, you just give him some easy throws to hit, he's going to hit him. So I'm going San Fran.